watching Leicester Till I Die TV.
Watch us on YouTube.
Listen on your favourite podcast platform.
Or ask your smart speaker
To play the podcast Leicester Till I Die.
Right, Chris.
You all right, Chris? How are you two? Hello and welcome back to the channel LTID TV, where we are here for another Predictions League episode. This is game week 3, which is a magic number if you ask Steve, who is with us this week. Hey, big cheers for Steve in the background, who I can see is smiling. He's doing the boogie and everything in the background. He is waiting. Thank you for those of you that are currently here joining us live. And if you want to know where you can follow us on this channel, you can check us out on YouTube, where you definitely should hit the subscribe button and hit the like button on this video to show us how much you're enjoying it. You can follow us on Instagram, on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, Facebook, TikTok. Make sure it's the LTID TikTok and not Chris's personal one, because you'll get a no from Chris on that one. And there on the right is all the brackets where you can put us in your ears if you don't want to see this gorgeous face. If this gorgeous face is too much for you, you can do that and just listen to us. We are, of course, here for the prediction show with Steve Lynex and his Foxy Clothing bingo. I nearly called it bingo. Foxy 7 clothing range, which you should go and check out anyway, even if you are not involved in the prize giving. Which is where I hear you ask, where is it, Brad? Where is the prize giving? Well, the prize giving is on my list. Where is the prize giving? Members? No, that's not it. I can't find it, so I'll ask this man. The man, the myth, the legend. He's been missing for 2 weeks. He's back off his holidays, but he is with us now. Mr. Steve, the winner, Lynex. Steve, welcome back, mate. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thanks, mate.
Oh,
that's good.
Well, you haven't been here for a few weeks. You've had your nice holly bobs, but we have managed to, Chris said the check is in the post, so you're back on this week for us. How are you doing, mate? You're doing well, I assume. You're looking well, anyway.
Yeah, we had a bit of break from work, and the wife wanted to go away, so we had a few days in the motorhome, and we did a tour around North Wales and all that. So it was a good break. Needed it.
Lovely. Well, it's always nice to get away, isn't it? So fortunately, you have to take the wife with you, but that's what comes with the territory, isn't it, mate? We are here for the Predictions League, which, well, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but Chris has channeled in his former Steve Lynex, and you've seen how you've done. Do you have any stern words to say to Chris on how he's done for you in filling in the gap over game week 1?
Well, I should be top of the league, to be honest, I think, if Chris is doing it right. So, I'm hoping they're right up the top.
Wow. We'll soon find out. We will be going through the results. And just so you guys in the comments know, if you're not involved in the league, well, you will miss out on the chance to win some lovely prizes from Foxy 7 clothing courtesy of Steve Lynex. I cannot see the promo on here. I don't know if it's been moved or I'm just being blind. Steve, just quickly tell people what they're in with a chance of winning should they come top of this league.
Yeah, you got a nice package. You've got T-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, a cap, and a beanie.
There you go. You get some lovely gifts, and Christmas is just around the corner. Although by the time this show ends, you might be looking for birthday presents, I guess, by the time it comes around in May. But before we quack, I'm talking like a duck. Before we crack on. Let's go to the comments diving now. We've got a few people in the comment section. Nate, who is a part of the league, he says, good evening. Let's just ignore my predictions from last week. Brad, well, if I told you that nobody made double figures, it might make you feel a little bit better. And we'll go through the rundown in them. Unfortunately, Steve, because nobody said they were good enough to fill in for you, you may have had one of a few zeros, but you weren't alone with the zeros, but I'll say why in a minute. Steve, good evening, mate. He says, Brad, I'm defo here. Well done, mate. He said you would be. He was smart by name, smart by nature on the quiz yesterday on LTID TV2 channel. If you don't know where that is, it's in the link down below. Go and click it and show it some love and support like you love this channel so much. It just helps us get this channel, the quiz channel, up and running. And James Horan, welcome, James. Good to see you again. He says, do you think we will get Dak and Samora and Castagne sold before the end of the window, Brad? Enzo's still saying it has to be done. I think personally they are three names of players that they're looking to go out. Steve, I know you haven't been able to really watch them because you've been away, but what do you think?
Great start. Like we just talking before we came on air, I think we've got rid of the prima donnas from last year, the players that were playing for themselves instead of the club, and hopefully now you can see a club and a team bonding together and going through the season as a team like they should be.
Yeah, I think it's exactly what we need, and like you said, all the prima donnas, all the players that were valuable, they held valuable to us at certain points in the season. I don't want to ever besmirch anybody's name unless it's Iosi Perez, but him aside, we needed them players at points in the season, whether we thought they were good enough or not. They stepped up to the mark under a certain manager who many consider to be a little bit of a second favourite button, Steve. I love pressing this one, but a little bit of a but nevertheless, that's where they were. So Scott is in the comments. He says, hi, Steve and Brad. He's stuttering when he says my name. I just have that effect on people, Steve. They stutter when they spell when they say my name. He says, hope you're both well. Thank you, Scott. I hope you're well as well. Say that when I'm sober. Please, can everybody do exactly what Scott's saying then? Can you smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already? It just helps get recognised even more than we need. We appreciate it a ton. Any support on this video, share it if you want. Why not? Share it with your mates. Let them know. And last but by no means certainly least, XRP Dynamite, Stevie Lynex on the wing. Oh, he's obviously a big fan of yours, Steve. So at least someone's turned up to support you, Steve. We have got a checks watch pretend voice watch. We have got a game kicking off in 45 minutes, so there is just one. There you go, Steve, just saying hi to Scott and hi to everybody. We have got a Friday kickoff, which is the first game. So I am going to quickly remind everybody what the results were of game week 2, and then I'm going to show you how you did. Steve doesn't need any dramatics. Unfortunately, he knows how he did or maybe didn't do in that case. But the results from last week that I asked everybody to predict were Coventry versus Borough. Coventry came out 3-0 winners. Birmingham played Leeds United and snatched a 1-0 win. Cardiff played QPR and they saw QPR came out 2-1 winners. Huddersfield were beaten by the Mighty Foxes 1-0. Mavadidi with a cheeky little nutmeg there. I can see the boss in the background. Hull City were very triumphant in a huge 4-2 victory over Sheffield Wednesday, new boys from League One. Ipswich, top of the tree, Steve. A bit of a surprise. They continued their rich vein of form with a 2-0 win over Stoke. Millwall suffered at the hand of Anthony's favourite team, Bristol City, suffering a late 1-0 defeat to Bristol City there. Preston, everybody's little mid-range packet, if you will. They tend to always have a good start. They continued that trait by beating Sunderland by 2-1. Rotherham, well, you could say they threw it away, but they imploded in their own special way, didn't they, Steve? They were 2-0 up and they messed it up. They got a red card, but they were just about able to hold on for a point. For a Desmond, they drew 2-2 with Blackburn. Saints and Norwich had the game of the divisions. I think you will correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there was a game that outscored this one in the way it went. Southampton 4, Norwich 4. Watford had a ball draw, which somebody may have predicted. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure someone backstage said they would get a draw. And then West Brom held off a late Swansea surge, West Brom beating Swansea 3-2. Oh, that was the result. And Nate may have said that he is not done too well, but I'll be honest with you, I'm about to reveal all, because not a lot of you did well. In fact, the highest score, as Chris will love to hear, was 7. 7 points were on the doors. And when I can organise my life, I will show you how everybody did. Here's how you all did for those that are looking. Only Doug got a correct result. I'm pretty sure that's right. It will get double checked after the show anyway. Only Doug was the only one with a correct result. And as you can see there, he was the leader with 7 points. Anthony got a whopping 2 points like Chris did, and so did Spencer. I managed one more. I got 3 points, as you can see there. And then throughout it, Craig, he loved 6. Last week, Craig got 6 scores right and not a single correct result. And this week, he matched it. So if you want stability and you want somebody to be consistent, Craig's your man for the answers there. As you can see, Doug, he got 4, but he got more points because of his one correct answer. Jeff and John were tied on 4. Mike got 5 correct scores. And Nippon, you're on strike 2. I'm afraid if you're watching this back, you're on strike 2. So next week, if I don't get any predictions for you, I will unfortunately have to remove you from the competition. Both the Shanes were in, scoring 4 and 5 respectively. And unfortunately, because I couldn't find a filler for you, Steve, that means you scored 0 points. But what did that mean for the table? Well, here is a live update. It is very close at the top. As you can see, the way we're doing goal difference is getting your correct results up. And Doug is doing that well. 20 points, 4 correct results over 2 weeks. Mike in second place with 18 points, just behind on 3 correct results. Steve Smart, unfortunately not you, Steve. He's got 2 correct results in the first 2 weeks of 17 points, hot on the tail. And then, divided by alphabetical order in the names they have given me, John and Told You Bro both have 3 correct results and 16 points. But that does mean alphabetically, John is in the lead. Chris holds that advantage, as you can see there, with his 2 correct results, putting him ahead of Craig. And then, for the time being, with Nippon's warning, there is 1, 2, 3, 4 of us all tied on 10 points and 3 with 1 correct result. And for the time being, Nippon holds that 8th spot with 2 correct results. But he needs to be getting his predictions in for next week. And then the basement, the bottom lot, if you will. Nate has 2 correct results, but it leaves him on 9 points. Me and Shane are yet to predict a correct result, which is really holding us back. We have 8, and Anthony has dropped to the bottom where he belongs on 7 points with 1 correct result. That's the catch-up out of the way. Let me just quickly chuck into the comments because we need to get a result going for the Friday night game. He says, Steve, Lynex, Splish Splash, having a bath, which is copied onto Twitch. I don't know if that's just something that's set up the way it goes, but there he is. Steve, smart and well, thanks. Steve, some of the graphic, it cuts out. I did see you got 7 points, mate. I'll sort that out with the graphic, but you are in the correct lead position. I can tell you that has been updated to where it is. That might have been the other person that I thought had a correct result. Yeah, again, I will double check your results, but I'm fairly certain 1 point for Cov instead of 3. Again, I've got it all to double check. Do not worry, mate. It all gets corrected like I corrected Jeff's for last week's. Do not worry, mate. I will sort that out if necessary when I recheck your predictions. You know they're in the group chat, so I can definitely do that anyway. That's the catch up. So without further ado, Steve, we finally have you here. We have to get one result out of the way, so it's a good job it's first on the list. It's Leeds versus West Bromwich Albion. Leeds were the favourites, along with Leicester and Southampton, to put up a promotion charge. They've had a very dull start, you could say. They drew against Cardiff, or they did come from behind in that game, and then they've obviously lost this week to Birmingham. They're at home though to West Brom. Where do you see this one going, Chris? Chris, because he's in the background. Where do you see this one going, Steve?
This one, not because I'm born at West Brom, but I think it's the right time to play Leeds if you want to play Leeds. I think they're still smarting from going down. I think they're still in a bit of a turmoil, but you'll see them. You know, it's I think halfway through the season starting to find form, but I think at the moment it's going to be touch and go for them. West Brom have been struggling. They are getting results, but they have been struggling. So I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game. But I'm going to go for 2-1 West Brom.
He's going 2-1 to the Baggies. This one, if memory serves me right, which apparently it doesn't because my memory never seems to serve me right, is a very split one. Here's where everybody in the league went for. And for you guys not in the league, get your comments down. Leeds versus West Brom. What are your score predictions for the game? I can tell you that Anthony went for a Desmond. He went 2-2. I have gone for Leeds to edge it as well. I think they're due to turn the form around, and I've gone for Leeds to win it 3-2. Chris, he loves a ball. He loves his fence, so he went to start things off. He's gone 0-0. Craig has snuck the Baggies for the win. He has gone 1-0 to West Brom. Doug, who's sitting top of the table, maybe start taking notes, people. He has gone 2-1 to Leeds United. He thinks they're going to find a win. As does Jeff. He's gone 2-0 to the Baggies. John also thinks Leeds are due a win. He has gone 2-1 to West Brom. West Brom got a good start. Not many people backing them for a win. Mike, however, as I say that, classic Mike, he joins it. He jumps on, and his score prediction was 1-0 West Brom. Nate has gone for a back Leeds for a 2-1 win. And Nippon, who I can tear this page out because he has not given me his predictions. Shane Downs has gone for a draw. He's joined Chris on the fence. And his counterpart, Shane O'Donnell, also sees Leeds winning 2-1. Spencer has sat on the fence with a 1-1 draw. Steve, we've had your prediction. You're going for West Brom to win 2-1, despite your non-biased connections to West Brom, obviously. Steve Smart by name, smart by nature, has gone 2-0 to Leeds. And Told You Bro also went 2-1 to Leeds. So Leeds are the favourable sides. A lot of you seem to think that Leeds are going to turn their form around. But you're not on your own. You're not on your own, Steve, with the West Brom prediction. So we can lock that one away. We know the early kickoff is done and out the way. Let's see what other people in the comments are saying. Scott says it'll be 3-1 to the Baggies. So you've got support from within, Steve. You have support from within. Craig says it will be a 1-0. Craig Gilbert says 1-0 West Brom. And Dynamite cannot decide. He has predicted that it will be a 1-1 draw. Well, Steve, it sounds like you've got a little bit of support, but the majority are definitely saying that it'll be a Leeds win, which brings us on to surprise package number 1 of the season. Plymouth Argyle had a solid start against Huddersfield. They are at home to Saints, and they have goals in them, Steve. 4 goals against Norwich. Yes, they conceded 4, so they show that they can concede them, but they definitely still have the goals there. Maybe a little bit of a dent from Chelsea FC, who want to purchase anybody and everybody. But how do you see this one going? Plymouth, obviously, newly promoted, and Southampton, obviously, one of the favourites to go up.
I think Plymouth, to be honest, at home are going to be strong. I can't see them doing well on the travels, but definitely at home, after watching a few of their games last season, very, very strong. Like you say, Southampton, they are going to score goals, but they are going to let goals in as well. I think Southampton are going to be like they were last year, very, very hard to predict. So purely on home soil, I'm going to go 2-0 to Plymouth.
He's going 2-0 to Plymouth. I mean, it's such a difficult division to predict, and this may be your level, as they say, Steve, because I've got a funny feeling the results I'm about to read out, a lot of people maybe agree with you, and people are maybe learning, because I think for the first 2 weeks, every 4 Plymouth were going to get an absolute whipping. But let me
I
tell
think,
you that,
to be honest, it's going to be better this year because, like, doing a prediction show for the Premiership, it was like every game was the same. But
yeah.
with the Championship, you've got that many different styles of clubs playing football, which is going to make it very, very interesting and nice to watch.
Yeah, I don't think there's any real like way you could shock people with your prediction, is there, in this league? Whereas in the Premier League, if you got lucky and and you've had a few of them, Steve. You've had me and Chris baffled at your results, but they've worked out for you, like Man City dropping points to a Fulham. But that's very few and far between. Whereas in this division, it's very competitive, and I'm seeing that with people's predictions. Anthony, he's gone 3-1 to Southampton. I've I've gone for a 2-1 win for Plymouth. So I believe Plymouth are going to be strong at home, and I think they have to be, being a newly promoted side. Chris, he loves his fence that much. He hasn't changed no matter what division he's in. He's gone for a 1-1 draw. Craig has copied his homework. He's also gone 1-1. Doug is picking the popular outcome at the moment because he's also gone for a 1-1 draw. Jeff has give Plymouth the edge here. He's gone 2-0 to 2-1 to Plymouth. Sorry, Jeff. Say that right. John, he 1-1 is definitely the popular score here, Steve, because he's also gone for a 1-1 draw. Mike has gone, well, he's gone a bit higher. He's gone for a Desmond. He's predicted 2-2. Nate has gone for Saints comfortably winning this 3-0. Shane Downs has gone for Plymouth to win this by 2-1. So has his counterpart, Shane O'Donnell, has also gone 2-1 to Plymouth. Spencer thinks it will be 3-1 to Southampton. And as you said, you've gone 2-0 to Plymouth. Steve Smart has gone 2-1 Southampton. And Told You Bro has gone for 1-0 Plymouth. So realistically, it's either seemingly a absolute kicking for Plymouth or they're going to cause an upset. But what has everybody in the chat gone for? You can tell I've only had a few weeks prepping for this, can't you, Steve? Moving about all over the shop. See what people in the chat are saying. The Blue Foxes, guess who got 2 A's and a C? I'm guessing you, Blue Fox. If that is you, well done indeed in getting them grades. Well done, mate. Scott has gone for 2-1 Plymouth. And just as I say about it, Craig's gone for a big Southampton win. And Blue Fox is celebrating his great grades that he's got with a 2-1 win to Plymouth. I mean, they've had a good start. And I agree with you, Steve. I think if they're going to get points and stay up this season, it's going to be at home and then take the bonus points they get away. Two teams that maybe are a bit indifferent. Blackburn, who Leicester have some playoff history with, but we don't talk about that. They've been missing from the Premier League for a while, so much so that Burnley fans are putting a wanted poster out for them. But they are at home to Hull. Both teams have had very indifferent starts to the season. Steve, what's your prediction for this? It's Blackburn at home to Hull.
Yeah, Blackburn again. They're a team that's going to get the points from home. I think on their home form, they're going to have a good season. They had a good season at home last season. So Hull was it a good result the weekend?
Yes, they won 4-2 against Sheffield Wednesday. So I am organised. I might not seem it the way I dart around, but I am organised.
Yeah, so they'll be buoyant. But I don't think it's going to get them the 3 points there. So I might go for a 1-0 win to Blackburn.
You're going for, you say might, but you've given me the score, so I'm writing it down. You've gone for a 1-0 win.
1-0 Blackburn.
1-0 Blackburn, yeah?
Yep.
He's gone 1-0. I'll be honest with you, my homework on this one, not so prominent. Anthony, he thinks Blackburn will win 2-1. I think Blackburn are going to go 2-0. I think they were annoyed at themselves against Rotherham. I think they got off the hook. I know they probably could have won it the way the game seemed to go, but they got off the hook to a terrible start. Rotherham shooting themselves in the foot helped them, but I think they'll want to get themselves on track. Chris has joined me. He says, yeah, Brad, I'll copy your homework. I'm going to go 2-0 Blackburn. Craig has gone for Hull. He says they're going to win 2-1. Craig's gone for a juicy away win for Hull. That'd be a great result for them, for starters. Doug thinks me and Chris are right, and he's gone 2-0 to Blackburn as well. Jeff has gone for a 1-0 win to Hull. So a bit mixed at the moment. John has sat on the fence with a Desmond. He's gone 2-2. Mike has gone 2-1 to Blackburn. Nate has gone 2-1 to Blackburn as well. Shane Downs has gone 1-0 Blackburn, so he's gone with you on that one. Shane O'Donnell, however, he can't split the two, so he's gone for 1-all. Spencer has gone for a Desmond. He's gone 2-2. As we know, you've gone 1-0 Blackburn. Steve Smart has gone 3-1 to Blackburn, so he really thinks that they're going to get a win out of it. And Told You Bro has gone 2-0 to Blackburn. So there we are. There's that fixtures out of the way. The next one, Anthony, who I don't think is in yet, but I'm sure he'll be watching this at some point. If not, he'll be catching up with it. His favourite championship team, depending on if Arsenal win or lose, he says, Bristol City, who got a late winner against Millwall, take on Birmingham, who themselves got a sneaky win at home to Leeds last week. Two teams with, and sorry if you could hear that noise, I have no idea what it is. Bristol at home to Birmingham. Where do you see this one going, Steve?
Purely on the hype of the West Midlands pressing that over here, things are starting to buzz at Birmingham. They're starting to get a bit of backing in that now. They're starting to get a couple of good results. So I think they're going to be on a little crest of a wave at the moment. Bristol like playing against the big names, but at home, I don't think they're going to be scoring many goals, to be honest, the way they were last year. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to Birmingham.
He's going for an away win to Birmingham. Anthony will be fuming in the comments, so when he catches up with us, he will be fuming with you, Steve. He'll be cursing the name Steve Lynex. So, is it any shock what the first result I'm saying is? I don't think so, because Anthony has backed Bristol City to win 2-1. On the other hand, I agree with you, Steve. I think Birmingham are going to nick it 1-0. I just think Bristol City are going to be one of them teams this season where they'll go and beat someone like Millwall, and then when you think they're going to win, they won't. I've gone 1-0 to Birmingham. Chris has gone for a 1-0 win to Bristol City. He thinks Anthony's favourite team will win that one. Craig can't decide, so he's sat on Chris's fence. He's gone 1-all. Doug has gone 2-0 to Bristol City. He thinks they're going to fly out the traps and continue that going this season. Jeff has gone for a very comprehensive 3-1 win for Bristol City. John's joined us. He's gone 1-0, just a 1-0 for Bristol City, but he's still picking them to win. Mike has also, very popular, 1-0. Bristol City seems to be the way most people are thinking. Nate has gone 2-1 to Birmingham. Shane Down has gone 2-0 to Bristol City. His counterpart, Shane O'Donnell, has also gone 2-1 to Bristol City. Spencer has gone 1-1. He sat on the fence. Steve, as we know, you went 1-0 Birmingham, like a few of us have. And Steve Smart has gone and sat on the fence at 1-all. And Told You Bro has gone for a Blackburn 2-0 win. Now, I do these in order of how I put them in the group chat and how they appear on BBC. But for that reason, I'm going to skip a game because I think we know what game would be next on that list. And I can see some of you in the comments probably eager to get yourselves involved, but we like to leave that one to the end because we are a Leicester City channel. So I want to keep you on tender hooks, as they say. Scott's just catching up. He says Hull lose 2-0, and he's also gone for a Birmingham 2-0 win. So whilst we skip ahead, and I'll just put a little asterisk next to it so I remember that I'm doing it last. We've got two teams that are maybe failing to live up to early season expectations. We have Middlesbrough, who was very excited with Michael Carrick at the helm. A lot of fans were very interested to see how his season started. Absolutely hammered by the lesser of the M69 derby, Coventry. They got a royal thumping away from home, 3-0. They are at home this week against winless Huddersfield. I mean, two teams desperate for points. Do you see? Are you going to surprise me and pick one of them to win, or are you nailing yourself to the fence on this one, Steve?
I'm going to go and nail myself to the fence, to be honest. I think Middlesbrough are going to find it hard. I think, I think they're going to try and play like teams play in the Premiership. It's not going to work. I think you need to find your own character, and I think the coaching that's going to be given is going to be given as a Premiership coaching, and I don't think that suits the Championship. So they are where they are at the bottom. So I think they're gonna struggle for a couple of weeks. So I'm going to go for a 0-0 on this one.
Oh, is Steve's prediction. Bearing in mind, people, he is on 3 points, although he wasn't able to pick up any points last week due to not being here, and nobody dared to fill in for him. So Steve's saying you'd rather watch paint dry than watch that game. Thankfully, most of us in the chat are Leicester fans, so we won't be. But how did everybody else see it going? Did they agree with you, Steve? Have they nailed themselves to that fence, or have they been brave and picked a winner? Well, Anthony has gone for a 3-1 win to Borough. He thinks the misery is going to continue for Steve Warnock's side, and they're going to go miserable for another week. I have also thought that will be the case. I have gone for Huddersfield. I think Steve Warnock's side showed us last week that they're capable of getting a result, they're capable of digging in, and I think they're going to come good. I have gone for Huddersfield to win that by 2-0. Chris has joined you on that fence. You've been joined by Chris. He has gone 1-1. I don't want to say it, but I think that's his favourite outcome this season so far, Chris. Craig has joined you completely, though. He thinks this will be a paint dryer. He has gone 0-0. Doug has decided that Middlesbrough are going to squeeze out a 1-0 win. Both teams low on confidence. I could probably see if anyone is going to win it. Maybe I've been a bit too optimistic. I think maybe I'd be better off saying they'll only win by the goal. Jeff has gone and also joined on the fence with a 1-1 draw. John has Middlesbrough to edge it 1-0. Mike has Middlesbrough to win it a bit more comfortably. He's gone 2-0. Nate has got a few more goals in it, but he's gone 2-1 to Middlesbrough. Shane Downs has gone for a 2-0 win to Borough. Shane O'Donnell, and he skipped over, has gone 2-0 to Borough. Spencer has gone for a 3-1 win to Borough. So not many people back in Huddersfield. I'm slightly regretting my choice of actions here. And as we know, you've gone for a paint dry 0-0. Steve Smart has gone 2-0 to Borough. I'm feeling a bit all on my own here, Steve, with my Huddersfield prediction. And Told You Bro has ended things with a 2-1 win to Borough. So, as Bon Jovi once said in the song, we are halfway there. But let's just quickly see what Scott has to say in the comments. Well, I feel a little bit better because Scott has gone 1-0 to Huddersfield. This one's a bit weird for 2 reasons. It is QPR at home to Ipswich. Now, Ipswich are currently the only side, along with Leicester, that are on a 100% win record in the league. They are currently top on goals scored, so that is why Leicester are second. And QPR are both sides of the same coin, Steve. They get absolutely smashed opening week of the season to Watford, and then they go and turn over Cardiff, our opponents, funny enough, at the weekend, away from home 2-1. And by all accounts, according to Cardiff fan who was on our preview show on Wednesday, if you haven't seen already, after this show, go and check that out. You know, he said they deserve to win. I mean, Steve, could be a difficult one to pick. Does your Leicester heart see Ipswich dropping points and hope that Leicester beat Cardiff, or do you see Ipswich's impressive form continuing?
I think QPR like these games, and I think with the small ground and the crowd close to the pitch, I think because purely Ipswich are on top, I think they'll up the game, and I'm going to see a surprising win of a 2-0 to QPR.
Well, Steve is here hoping that was 2-1 or 2-0. Sorry, mate.
2-0 to QPR.
2-0. Thought I heard you right. I was testing your area in your pass. Well done, Steve. Steve's going for the shock. He wants Leicester to be on top. Well, I hope so. We will wait for his Leicester predictions nearer the end. But what does Anthony think? Well, Anthony, you have predicted QPR and Ipswich to draw. I'll take that if we win. I wouldn't mind being top of the tree 3 games in if we can win ours. I obviously decided I'm going to agree with Steve without knowing it, because I have gone 2-1 to QPR. I think my Leicester bias may have come through there. Chris has gone for Ipswich to win it 1-0, so he's letting his head rule his heart. Craig has gone for a fence it. He's staying on that fence, Craig. Thou shall not move. He has gone 1-1. Doug has gone for an Ipswich 2-1 win. He's a Liverpool fan. I can forgive you, Doug. I might dock your points, but I still forgive you. I won't really. Jeff has gone for QPR to beat Ipswich 2-1. John has gone for a 1-0 QPR win. I think a lot of people voting with their hearts over their heads for this one, except for Mike. Typical, the Welshman always gets it wrong, but I say that he's second in the league. He's gone for 2-1 for Ipswich Town. Nate has gone also 2-1 Ipswich Town. He also believes Ipswich are going to continue their undefeated, their 100% streak going. Shane Downs thinks that Ipswich will also continue that. I'm not angry, Shane. I'm just disappointed. Shane O'Donnell, I'm also disappointed in you. He's also gone for Ipswich to win 2-1. Spencer has gone for a 2-0 win to Ipswich. Steve, I've always liked Steve. I always said he was voted out of it by Trixie's Maths last season. He should have come second because he's gone 2-0 QPR. Steve Smart has gone for a 2-1 win to Ipswich. And told you, bro, last but certainly not least, he has gone 4-0 Ipswich. Gordon Bennett, he thinks it's going to be an absolute romping. So there we are. We are just about at the halfway mark. Scott has gone QPR 3, Reading 2. Scott, I'm afraid to tell you we didn't do a predictions league last season in the Championship, so you won't score any points there. But he has realised his mistake and simply put QPR 3, Ipswich 2. Difficult split. I think a few people ruled their heart with their head, but we're just at that halfway point, and I've got a lot in common with this thing right here. I'm about to do a shameless plug for you, and that is, once I get all myself organised, why don't you support the channel? If you haven't already, you should be liking and subscribing, obviously. You should be doing that thing. But if you haven't already and you've got a bit of spare change in your pocket and you want to show your love and support, you can become a member of the channel, LTID TV channel. It is only available on this one because of the requirements on the sister channel yet. Go and help that there so you can become a member on both. But it is for the low price of $1.99, because $1.99 is always cheaper than £2, isn't it, Steve? It's always cheaper when it's written like that. And here are the benefits you would get from being a member of the show. You would get loyalty badges and emojis. You would get member shout outs, which everybody loves. We love a shout out, don't we? You love getting shouted out and recognised for it. You would get exclusive YouTube posts. You would get an exclusive quiz that is only available on YouTube to members. Members only shows as well. And if you think you could come on here and be a guest, then let us know. If you're a member, we have guest slots on the show for you. And of course, obviously the winners of the quiz of the league will get their merchandise. But you can, if you're not taking part and you are a member, use that member code to get discounted merchandise. Terms and conditions do apply, however. So yeah, if you want to become a member and fit in with the cool gang, that's how you can do it for the low price of $1.99 a month. And before we crack on, Steve, I'm going to give you the game so you know what it is that you're doing. The game I want you to think about, Sheffield Wednesday, who suffered a 4-2 defeat to Huddersfield, take on Preston. Before you give me score predictions, if you want to know where you can find us on podcast platform, here's where you can find us.
Leicester Till I Die podcasts on the Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, Anchor, and all podcast platforms.
Something is coming. Something big to this podcast.
Hello, Chris.
And of course, this show is not just a part of all them wonderful podcasts found on them wonderful podcast platforms. LTID TV is, of course, a part of TalkSport's fan network. And here's more information about that.
The TalkSport Fan Network is the ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts,
including Leicester Till I Die, independent analysis and reaction for the Foxes faithful.
The TalkSport Fan Network.
Unbeatable club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Follow the podcast on the TalkSport Fan Network.
So that is exactly where you can find us. If you want to just pop us in your ears, and make sure you clean your ears out before you pop us in there. But until that, so Sheffield Wednesday, indifferent. They felt injustice against Southampton in the opening game of the season, and then suffered a 4-2 defeat to Hull City the week. Preston, they usually have a good start. They've matched that again this season with a fairly decent start to it. Where do you think this one's going to go? Are you hopping off your fence? Are you taking the nails out, or where are you, Steve?
I think Sheffield are going to find it hard this year. I think they're going to struggle with the Championship. The way things have gone on over pre-season, whatever. Preston, like you said, always start off well. They're a solid Championship team. So I think it's going to take a few weeks before Sheffield find the legs. And I think they're going to struggle again until they do that. So I'm going for a 2-1 win for Preston.
Steve is... the more things change, the more they stay the same, Steve. You've gone against the grain, but maybe a bit tactical in this division. You know, like I said, Preston are a team that start off well, then fizzle out. So maybe it's not such a bad thing to go for an away win. But that's where he's gone, folks. He's gone for Preston to win 2-1. Anthony has gone for Desmond. He thinks it'll be 2-2. I have gone for a thumping Sheffield Wednesday win. I think they're going to get themselves right on the start. They're going to get the first one of the season, and I've gone 4-1 Sheffield Wednesday. Chris thinks that it will be a Sheffield Wednesday win, but he's only gone for 2-1. Craig, our other Leicester City expert, he's gone for 1-0 Preston. So you're not the only one. You're not the only one that thinks Preston will do the job. Doug has gone for a 2-1 win to Sheffield Wednesday. Jeff could not decide between them, and he's gone for an exciting Desmond. He's gone 2-2. John has gone for a draw. He's nailed himself to that fence. He's gone 1-1. Mike has gone and done the same. He can't be asked taking his nails out. He's gone for a 1-1 draw. Nate has gone for... Guess what, Steve? He's gone for a 1-1 draw. Shane Downs has gone for a draw, but it's a bit different. He didn't copy the homework completely. He's gone 0-0. Shane O'Donnell has also gone for a 1-1 draw. So it wasn't changed that much. People can't decide between them, Steve. Spencer, he has gone for a 2-0 Preston win. So you have some more support there. As we know, you've gone 2-1 to Preston. Steve Smart has gone 2-0 Sheffield Wednesday. And Told You Bro has, shock horror, he's gone 1-1. So place your bets on what you think the score's going to be, ladies and gentlemen, because if you trust in our competitors, it's going to be a 1-1 draw, Steve. But will that be the case for the next game, which is, and I need to get to your page, that would help, it is Stoke and Watford. Watford, who, like I said earlier, have gone very, very strange in a sense, because they have gone for, really, really, what was their result last week? Not prepared. I'm always prepared. They are, where are you, Stoke? Where are you? You're always hiding from me, Stoke. Stoke were beaten by first place Ipswich, and Watford, after, winning handsomely against QPR on the opening weekend, played out a ball draw against Plymouth. Scott, he's gone for a hefty 4-0 win to Preston against Sheffield. He thinks Sheffield Wednesday will struggle just like you, Steve. But we're on to Stoke versus Watford. It is at Stoke. Steve, where do you see this one going?
Stoke are so unpredictable. It's unbelievable. You can never. I can never read Stoke. When you think they're going to win, they don't. I think Watford are going to be Watford. I think they're going to play better away from home than they are at home. and they're always going to be a threat. So purely on that, again, I think Watford are going to win 2-0.
Steve has gone for a 2-0 win to Watford. Very interesting. Now then, where has our friend Anthony gone? Because I have accidentally hit him there. He has gone for a 3-2 win to Watford. With lots of goals when Anthony's around, I'll tell you that much. I, on the other hand, I have decided that Watford will win a lot more comfortable. I have gone 3-0 Watford. Chris has gone for a 2-1 Watford win. So, out the blocks, Watford are the favourites, according to us lot. Craig has gone for a 2-0 Watford win. Not a lot of faith in Stoke. And as I say that, I look down at my piece of paper, and Doug has gone for a 1-0 Stoke win. So, Doug has faith in Stoke. He is top of the leader for a reason. Maybe I need to get his answers first before I start predicting mine. What's it called? I could give a big six bias, couldn't I, Steve? I could just pay Doug off to copy his own work. Jeff, he restores the normal pattern of things. He goes 2-1 to Watford. John has gone for a Desmond. Mike has gone for a 2-1 win for Stoke. So he is second. So it's no surprise really that he's followed suit with Doug on that one. Nate has gone 2-0 Watford. Shane Downs has gone 1-0 Stoke. He's obviously learning from the wise owls at the top of the tree there with his prediction there. Shane O'Donnell has gone 2-1 Watford. Spencer has gone for please avoid 0-0. And obviously you went 2-0 to Watford. Steve Smart has gone for a 1-1 draw. And Told You Bro brings us home with a Stoke 2-1 win. So the majority of you there thinking Watford will get the job done, but maybe some of you are taking note of who's top of the leaderboard with some of your predictions. Scott is forever commenting, I love him for it, and he says Watford 0, Stoke 3. So we're down to the famous final four, and that was easier for me to say then than it was when I practiced it earlier, Steve. We are at two of the new boys. One of them shot themselves in the foot. Rotherham had the chance to get the first win. A shock win it would have been against Blackburn, but they shot themselves royally in the foot. I think the goal scorer got booked for over celebrating and then immediately got his second yellow card of the game. So they ended up getting a point. But Sunderland, you could say, have a point to prove being at home. Look, the face might be younger and the talent might be better, but the dad jokes are still here.
Boom!
Leave this show just because Chris isn't hosting anymore. No, you don't know. That's silly. Of course, I'm going to keep them lovely jokes coming in for you. Steve, though, Sunderland versus Rotherham, both teams struggling a little bit to get off the mark. Obviously, Rotherham famously shoot themselves in the foot. How are you sensing this one's going to go?
Purely on the name Sunderland, I think I think they deserve it. I think they've gone through their bad stage over the years, and I'm hoping that they start to do well. To be honest, so I'm going to go for a 2-0 Sunderland win.
There he is. He says no more of this fence business. He's been off the fence a while and he's staying on there. I have to admit, if results keep going the way they are for Rotherham, I think they're going to be maybe one of the few easier to predict teams going throughout this season. If I can stop hiccuping. But let's see if others agree with you, Steve. Not that it matters. Some of us are not that great at predicting. If you looked at the league, I won't say any more on that. Anthony, he went against his team in fully red. He went for the half reds of Sunderland. He's gone 2-1. I've just said that I think Rotherham will be an easy team to predict. And I think drawing the game the way they did against Blackburn is really going to haunt them. Maybe I was just drunk. I don't know. Because I've gone Sunderland 5, Rotherham 0. I'll be a genius if it's wrong and I'll get laughed at next week when I'm no doubt wrong and not right. Chris, he went 3-1 Sunderland. No real surprises so far in which way people are going. Craig, he has gone 2-0 to Sunderland. Doug has gone also 2-0 Sunderland. Jeff has, surprise, surprise, he's also gone 2-0 Sunderland. John thinks it'll be a little bit closer, but he has given Sunderland a win 1-0. Mike has again said the same as John and only gone for a 1-0 win to Sunderland. Nate has given Rotherham some hope, but not much. He's gone 2-1 to Sunderland. Shane Downs has gone 1-0 Sunderland. Surprised no more 2-0s. I thought 2-3-0s would have been a big one, but it seems 1-0 is the favourite. Shane O'Donnell, just as I say that, he did go 2-0 Sunderland. Spencer has, I believe, been the only person to sit on the fence for this one so far because he's gone 1-1. As we know, Steve, you went 2-0 to Sunderland. Steve Smart has gone 2-0 Sunderland. Nobody has backed Rotherham for this one, not even Mike, who usually goes for a crazy outside bet. And last but certainly not least, well, told you, bro, is the second person that's gave Rotherham some hope. He's gone for a paint dryer. He has gone 0-0. So, with that in mind, let's see what people in the chat have said.
Excuse me.
Scott has said, Brad, Chris has rubbed on you too much. Yeah, I know, mate. I know. And I would apologise, but I'm not going to. And he has predicted, wow, Scott, I asked for a wild one. Well, Scott, I think it's safe to say that, I know you're probably hoping that you're going to be a wild card, but I think you're going to end up looking a bit more like but we'll see. And I cannot believe this. I always forget this. You know the sponsors of this show. Steve, your gracious company clothing merch. I tried to play the video, didn't I, to show what lovely things you could win, and I couldn't find it. Well, just because I like to do shameless plugs, I found it, so I might as well use it.
The Prediction Show from Leicester Till I Die TV is brought to you by ex-Fox Steve Lynex and foxy7clothing.co.uk.
Back of the net.
Where were my eyes about 50 minutes ago when I needed it to bring you in? I don't know, Steve. Next week I'll get there. I'll rehearse it better. It's not live. I can edit it out. I'll put it in at the start. It's fine. But Steve, we come to two lesser sides. The second best team in Wales, some would argue, with our opponents being Cardiff at the weekend. I'm not being biased in saying that. And that minnow side, the other end of the M69 massive derby, because as I always say, if your derby's named after a motorway, that makes it massive. We have Swansea at home to Coventry. Coventry probably could have come away with a point against us, but I'm glad they didn't. They then got knocked out of the cup, and you may be thinking it wasn't going to be a recovery season for them after the playoff heartache they suffered last season, but they bounced back in style against Middlesbrough, and they are at home against Swansea, who couldn't quite complete the comeback in their game. They lost 3-2 to West Brom, and I will be honest, I have it down here below me, but I cannot see it on there. How did they do? I've got it. Swansea in the opening game, they drew with Birmingham. Not organised. I have you all in the palm of my hands thinking I'm not organised. Swansea at home to some minnow side on the M69. Steve, are they going to be your Forest of this division? Your Tottenham Hotspur? Are we ever going to see Steve Lynex boldly predict Coventry to win, or shall I just put you down to 3-0 Swansea?
You put me down for a Swansea win, yeah.
The more things change, the more they stay the same, Steve. I love it. This is why we have you on, Steve, for moments like this. Go on, tell everybody your inner hatred towards Coventry. Let it flow through you, Steve.
I tell you, a lot of noise comes out of Coventry. A lot of noise, and it's crap noise. I've done a lot of work in Coventry as well, and I'm not going to slag the city off, but no, I haven't got a good word for Coventry at the moment. So, Swansea are going to win 3-0.
I tell you what, I might not be doing one in the predictions league, but predicting Steve when it comes to Coventry, I apparently have nailed on. He has gone 3-0, folks. But I've accidentally loaded up the comments. I'll keep it there. Where did everybody else go? Huh, well, I've got the answers and you don't. So, no. But I will tell you the answers. Anthony. Anthony went 1-0 Coventry. We'll move on. Oh, for God's sake. Oh, for God's sake, no. You know what? I play it to everybody else. Get your pitchforks out, people. Get them at the ready, because I am the biggest.
Bell end.
I've gone Swansea 0, Coventry 3. I won't say it too loud because I know that might hurt people, but I may have, in my infinite wisdom of predicting how Steve would go, forgot that I may have backed Coventry to win 3-0. I've gone 3-0 Coventry in case everybody says I don't say my score out loud enough. All right, moving on. Right, let's get some normality. Right, resumed. Chris, did you see sense? No, Chris has gone 2-0 Coventry as well. Chris.
Bell end.
Oh, for God's sake, what you doing? What we doing to me here? Craig, have you stored parity? What have you gone? You've gone for a result that I have not written down. Well, that's a double bell end for me. Craig, I will get your scores. I will get your predictions off you, mate. I have them in the chat, but I haven't written them down. See, it was that boring game. I just didn't write them down. I just didn't want to write them down. I'm just going to say he's got more sense than me and Chris, and he's gone for a win, but we'll move on. It's fine. It's not live. Doug. Oh, Doug.
Bell end.
He's gone 3-0. He's gone 3-0 to Coventry as well. I think Steve's the only one with a brain for his prediction. Some of you, I mean, Doug's a Liverpool fan. I can't really say that about him. He's not wearing his Leicester heart being a Liverpool fan. Jeff, restore faith in humanity. I'll let him off. He's gone 1-1. He's sat on the fence. Fair enough. I'll let Jeff off. John. I'm assuming, John, you are a Leicester fan, as the majority of you are. And on that basis, John.
Bell end.
You've gone 3-1 to Coventry. Oh, dear. Oh, I'm regretting life choices now. I'm also regretting using that button. But Mike has gone. Hey, Mike's got brains. He might not like it, but he's gone for 2-1 Swansea over Coventry. He escapes the dreaded bell end button. Nate. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
Bell end.
He's gone 2-1 Coventry. I'm making myself chuckle. You know it's bad when I'm making myself chuckle. Shane, he has gone and been a right.
Bell end.
3-0 to Coventry. That button would break if I pressed it anymore. Shane O'Donnell.
Press it.
Bell end.
On 2-1 to Coventry. Please don't let it sway your decision making for the next weeks, but the bell end button will be going into overdrive this season the way they're going. Spencer.
Bell end.
Gone 3-0 to Coventry. Steve, you're a legend. You've got sense. You went 3-0 to Swansea. Steve Smart.
Bell end.
Bell end.
And 3-2 Coventry. It's not good enough to avoid the button press. And last but certainly by no means least, told you, bro.
Bell end.
2-0 to Coventry. So most of us feel a bit like we're bell ends, but we're not going to feel like them if we are correct in going for Coventry's win. Oh, now that's over with. Let's see how much abuse I'm getting for pressing the bell end button in the comments, Steve. Scott, you don't get it pressed. He went for 2-2. Anthony, big up, lads. I'm getting 120 points this week in my week. I mean, only if I give you triple points. And even then you might struggle, Anthony. I don't know if you've seen where you are in the table, but this is definitely the one to be saying 24 points, mate, because that would make you a bit of a bell end. I'm not going to press it again, people. Don't worry. You've suffered enough. But you are, well, Anthony, you're wondering where your name is. I'll have to remove you to tell you, mate. You're not doing well at the moment. You're not bottom. That I don't know why. I think that's probably because there's a banner going across the bottom. But I don't. Look, Steve's just said Swansea are going to beat Coventry, so I won't embarrass him anymore. You're not bottom, but I shall not shame him on who is bottom. It's not Steve's fault. He was on his holly bobs. But yeah, that's where you are in the league, Anthony. So you might need 21 points just to catch up the way Doug's going at the moment. So we are here, Steve. The penultimate game, the one that everybody wants to rush through because we know what's coming. We know what game is next. It is Norwich and Millwall. Millwall suffering a very late defeat to Bristol City, and Norwich had an absolute ding-dong of a game against Southampton at the weekend. Is it going to be goals, or do you see, I don't know, a shocking Millwall win? Or where are you going, Steve? Where are you going?
I'm going to say 3 goals. I'm going to say it's going to be Norwich. They always do it in the Championship. They're always strong at home. They always score a lot of goals. So purely on that, I'm going to go 3-0 to Norwich.
He's going 3-0 to Norwich. He wants to rip it off like a Band-Aid. Go 3-0. Steve, don't worry, mate. By the time next week rolls around, any points that I have miscalculated will get put right. If that is the case, which I'm sure it is, mate, I've trusted your word for it. I will sort it out because he says here he should be second on 19 points. Don't worry about it, mate. It will get sorted. Everything will get checked through the VAR system, and I will stop looking like a bellend getting it wrong. He said, Steve, Brad's worse than Chris doing these scores. Shut up, you. I'm good at reading out the scores. I'm just not good at maths, all right? Leave me alone. Bristol City, yes, I'm sure that's happy for you. Scott has gone, he's gone 3-1 to Millwall. So he thinks Norwich will get it. He thinks 3-1 to Millwall. Wow, I was so assured he said 3-1 to Norwich then, the way he'd written it. I didn't think he'd go 3-1 Millwall, but he sees an upset on the cards. And XRP Dynamite says, I only live 2 minutes away from Bellend, Rowley Regis. There you go. So you're only a stone's throw away from a Bellend, it seems, in life. So there's some information we all know. But we've got your prediction, Steve. And yet again, I have to get my trusty notepad. Which, for the way it sounds, Spencer's sanity of demanding these in second place and gets corrected. I will check it at the end while I tag things along for the Cardiff game that will be next. Anthony, he went 2-0 Norwich. I have gone 0-0. I think if he does dishwater. Chris went 1-0 to Norwich. Craig went 3-1 to Norwich. Seeing a pattern here. Doug, he went 3-1 Norwich. It's more than a pattern right now. Jeff, Norwich, 1-0. Norwich. John, Norwich, 2-1. Mike, Norwich, 1-0. Because it sounds like 7, it works. Nate, no, you have to ruin it, Nate. He sat on the fence, he's gone 1-1. Shane Downs has gone for Norwich, he's gone 3-0. Shane O'Donnell has been a bit boring like Nate. He sat on the fence and he has gone 1-1. Spencer has gone for Norwich. He's gone 3-0. As have you, Steve. You've gone 3-0 to Norwich. Steve Smart has gone for Norwich 2-1. And just, you had to ruin it, didn't you, told you, bro? He couldn't let it finish on a Norwich. No, he's gone for a Desmond. He thinks it will be 2-0. So, that was the penultimate fixture. And now the main event, the one you have all been waiting for, as I skillfully use that time to reorganise myself. We're here for the massive team, the Man City of the Championship, the second team with 100% record in the Championship, one of 2. The mighty Foxes, the massive M69 Derby champions of the world. Thank you very much. We are at home to Cardiff City, who had 2 very indifferent results. You could argue they blew a 2-0 lead against New Boys Leeds United in the opening weekend. But then at home against a team that had just been 4-0. They lost to they lost to QPR. I would like to say that most people have been sensible here, but a lot of hearts rule ahead. Steve, are you going to let your heart rule your head, or is this where we get the inner sensei of Steve here with his prediction ones?
Well, last year I had to try and do the reverse forecast to help Leicester out, but it didn't work. I think this year totally different. I'm hoping that the King Power is going to be a fortress. I think everybody's going to want to try and beat Leicester there, and I think Leicester are going to be up for the fight, which they have started off well. So I'm going to keep up the trend. I'm going to say a 2-0 win to Leicester.
Steve is going for a confident 2-0 win. Back-to-back clean sheets and a bit of daylight between us. If other results go our way, well, predominantly in Ipswich one, it would put us top of the tree, Steve. I like the cut of this man's jib when it comes to prediction. Anthony, just so you know, mate, I have just started your question for Steve because we're at the end point now. The end is near, and now we draw the final curtain. I'll never sing again, I am sorry. I've started your comment, so once I've gone through all these predictions and wrapped it up, there is a question for you, Steve, so you can't disappear. Blame Anthony. He just says it's 0-0 between Leeds and West Brom at the moment. Don't ask me who's getting points for that right now because it means nothing. It's a bit like Spurs in the Cup. It's absolutely pointless me telling you that because it'll only crush your hopes. Scott, I don't think so, mate. You've seen the points on the board, mate. I think some of your predictions have been very good and very true. And I'm not just saying that because you've gone for the prediction that you've gone down below. He's gone for a Foxes 2-0 win. But for the final time this week, Steve, let's see what everybody else has gone for. So, skillfully readjust my glasses. Anthony has joined you with a 2-0 win to Leicester. I have said that Leicester will concede because there's just something about Leicester that you can't help but think they're going to concede. I haven't quite shaken that feeling yet that clean sheets are going to be still a little bit few and far between for us. I have gone for a 3-1 Leicester win, so I don't think there'll be any bell end buttons pressing on this one. Chris has he's gone for a comprehensive 3-0 win to Leicester. He's very confident that Leicester will stay on a 100% run. Craig has also, well, he's actually matched me. He does think that Leicester are susceptible to conceding a goal, but he has gone 3-1 to Leicester. Doug, now I profess not to have favourites on this channel or the Leicester Till I Die quiz channel. Go and check it out and show it some love. Another shameless plug. Right, but Doug might be my favourite person in this league at the moment. It's not just because he's top, and it's not just because I'm hoping if he wins the thing, he'll give me all the merchandise. But he's gone Leicester City 5, Cardiff 1. He's gone big, Steve, and that's a Liverpool fan going big there. Jeff has gone for a sturdy 3-0 win to Leicester. John has gone for a comfortable 2-0 win to Leicester. A lot of you back in the clean sheets here. I'm liking that. And Mike, he's sticking to the number 2 role because he's now my second favourite. He's gone for Leicester 4, Cardiff 0. I'm sure that has no bias impact on it at all. I'm sure that's definitely not something to do with Newport and his Welsh following that Mike has. Now, I can't see it. Can you, Steve? Can't see his impact on that? Well, Nate, he's a little bit more edgy. He's gone for a 2-1 Leicester win. I take it. It's still 3 points on the board. It's just as impressive as winning 5-1 or 4-0. Shane's backed Leicester to win 2-0. Shane O'Donnell has backed Leicester to win 3-0. First one with Shane Downs, just in case you're confusing the two. Spencer has gone 2-0 Leicester. Steve, we know you. You went 2-0 Leicester because you're a true blue. Steve Smart has gone also 2-0. You Steves and US's, you're all cahooting together, I'm sure of it. And last but by no means least, told you, bro, he has gone for a 3-0 win. Now, subject to change of the league table, we have seen how everybody did this week. Yes, don't worry. The points will be double checked and triple checked. You may have more points. You may be second. But for now, Steve Smart, just wait, okay? Just be patient for me to get it. I'll get there eventually, Steve. You will be put in the correct position. That has been the prediction show. I have your results here, and I can tell you, you're saying it was a Coventry game, Steve. Well, let me draw out the suspenders for you. And I don't wear them on show because that'd be embarrassing, but there we go. Steve, do I need to correct something, or are you going to find out that your prediction was indeed only worth a point? Let me get there. We've got the Shanes, we've got the Spencers, we've got the Steves. Yeah, I need to correct something. He did go 3-0. He is correct. I need to add some points. So we have another person in second place. Sorry, Mike, you have been knocked down a point. Won't take me long to edit. It's only an extra couple of points. But Steve, third time was a charm to get you on the show back here from your lovely Holly Bobs and your working hours. We are going to be back at 7 each week, providing you work. So do keep an eye out. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Notification bell is turned on, and you like the video just because you love seeing our lovely faces. But Steve, Foxy 7 Clothing, the people in the competition know about it. Is it all back up and running over its half-term break?
We're messing about with it. We're changing some of the logos and that. So
there you go, guys. He does know how to advertise. Does it well, doesn't he?
We are messing about with it. So the daughter's finished all her exams now, so she can get back behind the. I'll tie back to the chair and get her working on it again.
There you go. So make sure now the worker. We can't call it child labour because that'll get him in trouble. But now he's having some help with the family. Going around there. Foxy 7 Clover will be back up and running, and what a model. You couldn't ask for a better model than the man himself, Steve Lynex, showing you exactly what the merch entails and what it is doing. I'm just going to run through the last couple of comments before I ask you Anthony's question before we end the show. XRP Dynamite says, old staff boy here says 2-0 Leicester. I knew these guys in the comments will let me down. Anthony, Brad, you got your league table upside down on? No, I really haven't, mate. Doesn't matter how bad you're doing, I can never correct it. Yeah, all right, Steve. Yeah, I knew that was coming. VAR, Nate was right. We've sent it to the screen. What's that? The PayPal hasn't cleared. Don't tell Steve yet. Yeah, okay. No, official. It's a point. He does get a couple of boosting points. Thanks, Nate. He said, great show. Steve and Brad. Are you trying to tell me, Nate, that Steve's your favourite? Well, I'll note that down. He said Steve first. Yeah, well, just remember I am the ruler of it. And you and Earl. Steve, I'm a medium, okay, mate. You don't. It's first place that's going to get prizes, Anthony, not the wooden spoon. You don't get a sympathy prize. And a medium, what, in socks? Maybe. I don't know about medium in his hat, maybe in his socks. But I don't know about a shirt or a beanie. Not that you have to worry about it, Steve, because you won't be needing his address anytime soon. But the question Anthony had was this one for you, Steve. And the reason I saved it is because it's at the end. We can do this now. I just wanted to get through all the competitions. He said, question, Steve, what player of today do you compare yourself to? And please don't say Messi. Why not? Why can't he say Messi, Anthony? If he thinks he's not neat and tidy, why can't he be? But Steve, serious question for you. What player of today's generation, I know you're not too happy with the namby-pamby rolling around. That gives me a question to ask you as well. But what player would you compare yourself to today? Or is there one out there that you kind of say is the next Steve Lynex of the world?
To be fair, this one, I have to have an argument with my son about this one because he compares himself in the modern game to when I played. And to be fair, I can't say that there's a player around that is the same as myself because you don't see wingers anymore.
Mm.
And that's the problem, and that's not slagging off the modern game, whatever. It's the systems that people play, and they don't play wingers anymore. They keep calling them, attacking fullbacks and whatever they're called, but it's very rare you get a player now that's allowed to use his own personal skill that he was born with. I think it's getting coached out of everybody. I see a lot of it now because I'm a coach of an under-13s team, and I stand and watch other people coach them, and they're just coaching the natural ability out of players, and they're just getting to play to systems, and I think that's what's been the problem with the modern game at the moment. If you or I now, it's like my age and yourself and everybody, if you went to a game and there were 2 players short, you know, you could play. You wouldn't look out of place because all you do now is you get the ball, you pass it sideways and backwards, and you know, you heard me last year going on about the Premiership and it's why it's being ruined. I'm going to start enjoying the Championship because, like I said, every team in the Championship brings a different thing to the table. They're all different styles, so that's going to be the buzz for me. But as for the Premiership and that, you know, it's hard to say. There's no players around no more individual skill. You know, players that are allowed to do what they do. They can't anymore. They've been told how they got to play in systems and you know formations that I've never even heard of half the time. But it's a modern game, and plus you know the diving, the antics, the whatever. That spoils it for me. VAR spoiled it for me because you know you look at the decisions. Yeah, I think you know my rivalry over the West Midlands. I'm not a Wolves fan, but Wolves are absolutely robbed at the game at Manchester United, where the goalkeepers come out and physically assaulted 2 of the players.
It is
And
ridiculous.
it's all for the TV now. This VAR thing and all that. It's all for the TV. It's not for the good of football. And you know, it's even. Although the women's game is well, and I've been watching the Women's World Cup and it's taken off, but VAR's creeping into the women's game now, and it's starting to ruin the women's game. And
Yeah,
it's you know it's all for the TV. It's not nothing to do with football, nothing at all, because there's no rules to VAR. Because at the end of the day, it's a person who's watching the screen. It's his decision, and you know it's ruining the game for me. So I'm
yeah,
sorry I can't answer that because you know you don't see players from my era or you know wingers. The only thing I can say like was the thing which was close was I wasn't as skillful as a guy Mahrez, but he
yeah. Probably the most natural
used
winger.
to, used to so excite me, that guy, when he got the ball and what he could do. But he suffered now. He's had to move. He's had to move because he wasn't getting picked. He would have been for me one of the first names on the team sheet, but he couldn't even get in at Man City. So very hard one. I'm sorry I can't answer it, but you know,
Yeah. It is a shame that's the way the generation's gone. I mean, the one thing I also do like, and I'll get your opinions on it, and we will let these people go. I will let these people go when I ask you this. It will be the final question. But thank you to Steve Smart, even with his VAR antics and rightful justice has been served. I've noted it down to update it on the table before next week's show. So don't worry, Steve. Everything will be up to date with your points. He says, great show, lads. Don't forget people to subscribe to this quiz channel as well. Yeah, do go and show love to both channels because they're both great channels and I happen to be on both of them. Or maybe if I tell you I'm not, you might go and subscribe there. I don't know. Well, thanks, Steve. Says Anthony here says, for your honesty, I was thinking Martinelli from Arsenal. He loves
I'll take that. I'll take that all day. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, there you go. And told you, bro, you might have just joined a little bit too late. That is getting fixed. Steve's daughter is the one that predominantly runs it. If you can see his little merchandise there that he's issuing, they've done a little bit of a logo change, as you can see.
Yeah, we've got it on the arm. I'll get on the arm.
Yeah, it's got the arm sleeve for it. It's under maintenance at the moment, but Steve has rest assured us that in a few weeks, well, hopefully even quicker than that, it will be back up and running. So do keep checking it out.
There's one you can go on Facebook. There's a Foxy7 Facebook.
There you go. There you go. Told you. Get yourself on the Facebook page and get yourself ordering from there. You can still do it there. It's just the website itself is getting some TLC. Now his daughter's for exams. And it says it's all analytics in sports now. Yes, it is, Nate. I mean, the one good for all, Steve. I know it's something that me and you definitely had a gripe over. In fact, pretty much everybody on this channel, whether it was you know Chris and myself or Craig, but some people, strangely, I can't kind of understand why, but some people are dead set against it. But what do you think to this new tweak in the rule of injury time, where they are trying their best to give the supporters, in my opinion, the way it works? I mean, we've seen 10, 11 minutes. We saw it at the World Cup, and the thing I do err on is, after a few rounds of the World Cup, it calmed down a bit, didn't it? People weren't playing. What do you make on this new injury time thing where they're literally trying their best to give the fans the money they paid for, which is 90 minutes of football at the end of the day?
I think it's just another thing for TV. I think it's nothing to do with the football, to be honest. I think it's just something else for them to talk about because, the way modern football is now. You go back to my era when you got clattered, the referee used to come over, grab you by the shirt, pick you up, and you carried on, and that was it. But I think now, if you're adding seconds and minutes on for everything that goes on, I think it's just boring. Why add another 10, 12 minutes onto a game that's boring anyhow? When just get it over with, just keep the pace going. The referee, if he was allowed to, because there's no contact in this game at all now. There's no contact at all. And the only silly things that you are adding time on for is a guy rolling around on the floor looking for his barber to come and fix his hair and stuff like that. That's the kind of thing. You see people going down, especially more nowadays with the cameras coming from each angles. It gets embarrassed when somebody goes down holding the face when they've only been hit in the chest or the back of the arm. And that's the kind of thing that needs to be stamped out. And another thing that bugs me, and I can go on forever, is corner kicks.
Oh.
All the grappling and the fighting and the wrestling that's going on. How, to me, is that not a penalty every time? Every time.
Yeah, it's definitely an area of it that you think if you stamp that out of it, you probably do get your 90 minutes of football, and then you maybe don't need your 10, 11, 12 minutes of football. Anyway, Steve, I've kept you long enough. It's been great to have you back on. The viewers have loved having you back on. Yeah, yes, definitely, Steve. Hopefully,
I'll the table soon when you get all your figures right.
Yeah,
I shall be questioning you next week if I haven't got the ones that are,
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be writing them down as the full-time whistles coming, won't you, Steve, just to make sure. Steve, it's been a pleasure having you back on. You will be back here now regular unless you're on a holiday or whatever. And this is why we want you to make sure you've got your notifications turned on, because if Steve ever has a reason he can't do 7 o'clock, the times will change, but it will be 7 as per usual. Steve, I've been Brad. That has been Steve. If I do that, I can't go wrong. Well, I can, but only half the time. Thank you all of those who enjoyed it. And until next time, which will be the watch along with the gorgeous host, Chris, because the better looking ones have to do this one. We have to try and big him up. But Chris will be back for the watch along tomorrow. I think about 2 o'clock he does it. So until then, it's been goodbye from me and Steve.
Goodbye from me.
There we go. We said we don't rehearse these things. See you later, guys, and take care.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network.
TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.